Coast Road Public Radio.
If you're my age, you probably grew up with the Fun Zone councils. With it, all the great games. Senile Showdown, Toxic and...
New Religion Talk Radio. Telling you how to trust, how to feel complacent, and how to think.
Ronaldo, of Ronaldo's Muscles fame. What a legend.
Coast Road Public Radio.
If you're my age, you probably grew up with the Fun Zone councils.
Coast Road Public Radio. Surf the sound waves. Catch the coast.
Welcome back to Seacoast Row Public Radio. Obscura Biotech has emerged as a leader in genetic technology, but with it have begun to draw suspicions from the masses. People are hard to convince when it comes to genetic tech companies, especially after Al Cannon's chemical spill in Spectre Forest and Paragon's nuclear meltdown on Jury Jongo Island. But Obscura, like those sketchy corporate overlords before him, claim they are going to save the world. They call it the Fabricating Reality Initiative. Obscura's plan aims to reconstruct society and culture on every level. They claim it's for progress, that they're noble philanthropists looking to make Scythe a better place. But I think they're really just power-hungry sociopaths who consolidate power behind false pretenses, completely monopolizing society and culture in the process. They do this to the detriment of the masses, to the benefit of only themselves. I'm not saying they want us all dead. Don't get me wrong. They want us subservient, compliant. It's all about money, credits over ethics. But what do I know? I know I managed to record an interview with Obscura Biotech co-founder Gregory Theodore Reynolds. I know Gregory is a powerful man. I know he's a major shareholder of both Sabbath Broadcasting Network and QuickCure. And I know he had people sent to my house to scrub this interview. But just for you listeners, I managed to hold on to the full, unedited chat. And now, I'm going to air it right on the network. Hopefully this goes viral on status posts or something, who knows. Anyway, enjoy. Thanks for talking to Seacoast Row Public Radio. You mind if I call you GTR?
What? Absolutely not. If you must address me, then call me Mr. Reynolds.
Well, it's an interview, so, yeah, of course I'm going to have to address you. An interview requires a back and forth, you see.
Usually for interviews, I am given the questions beforehand, have a script prepared and rehearsed for my answers, and never speak directly to the interviewer. Consider yourself lucky, a man who has been afforded a most rare privilege.
You once posted on Status Post, I think people should be legally obligated to stop eating animals. Are you really suggesting legislation is passed to force people to go vegan?
Why, yes, I did say that, but let me explain my reasoning. Restaurants like Happy's Humble Burger Farm are most popular for their hamburgers. As a result, the farmers providing their meat are forced to raise and harvest many cows. These cows and the methods in which they are slaughtered and prepared are a major source of carbon emissions. With Obscura Biotech, I aim at solving problems like a looming food shortage crisis or climate disaster.
So humans are forced to go vegan. What are their main diets now consisting of?
I never said we should pass laws forcing veganism or to ban people eating meat. Why, that's just absurd. That would be a violation of human rights, completely unjust and immoral, and, quite frankly, disgusting. The only change would be a ban on animal meat. You know, meat from cows, pigs, chickens, most animals, really. And fish, too. But there would be alternative meats made, delicious and nutritious alternatives developed through the wonders of science. Obscura Biotech has mastered the technique. Well, the art, really. Obscura has mastered the art of synthesizing human excrement as an alternative source of meat. Just imagine a local elimination hole the masses would line up in to make their daily bowel movements.
You mean like a sewage system?
Yes, I suppose it is like a sewage system, but more importantly than what we name this meat processing center is what it does. You see, this sewage system, as you so roguishly call it, would collect all of the excrement and, through a costly and time-intensive treatment, synthesize the collective eliminations into a rubbery, edible patty. This synthesized meat product would then be seasoned and marinated with carefully engineered flavor chemicals. It would cost roughly the same as animal meat.
It sounds absolutely disgusting and impractical. So what is that unfinished meat beside you on the diamond-encrusted plate there? Is that the human meat? I mean, I guess I can't fault you too much when you're putting your money where your mouth is. I can begrudgingly respect you practicing what you preach, GTR.
Oh no, I wouldn't dare. This meat is a delicacy. Two-headed elk meat shipped in fresh from California. This thing is such a fresh kill. It was eating grass before you even woke up today for your commute to the radio hovel you're conducting this telephone interview from. I happen to be a culinary connoisseur.
The two-headed elk are an endangered species. I think that's highly illegal.
You don't say? Well, I could afford illegal.
Did you at least hunt and cook the creatures yourself?
No, but I hire the world's greatest hunters and the world's greatest chefs. I pay them an enormous premium and a generous tip. I almost always give them harsh reviews on Status Post Premium to keep them guessing.
What is Status Post Premium?
Your application would never be accepted. And I imagine you'd never be able to afford the yearly subscription fee. Not in 10 lifetimes.
Right. So you're calling in from your 166 million credit yacht, the SS Reginald, correct?
Yes, that is correct. This is one of my most prized possessions. Top 30 favorite possessions. No, top 25. How is the signal?
Oh, crystal clear, even from international waters. It's impressive, really. What a signal. Just to be clear myself, what you are saying, fundamentally, is that you want to have everyone else but you and your close friends and associates eating synthesized human excrement developed by a company you hold shares in and profit off of, while you illegally dine on an endangered species on board a 160 million credit yacht that's worth more than their entire bloodline's collective net income across history. Is that right?
Exactly, but we have other meat alternatives. It's not just the synthesized human excrement goo. And when we develop and serve up recycled garbage loaf, you best be ready and willing with a spoon, because if you don't, someone more grateful will get that garbage loaf. That serving will feed someone else's children while yours go hungry. It's simply better for the environment all round. But mostly for us, which is why you all got to do your part. We even wrote the part for you. Aren't you happy with your part we wrote for you? It's all conveniently laid out. Why aren't you complying? Why are you complaining where you should be complying? Why should the rich and powerful suffer for the luxury of you peasants? It was our ancestors who put everything together and built the very society you stain. Why should we be penalized with substandard living conditions to accommodate you wretches? Even a small chunk of 1 million civilians making sacrifices will do a ton more good than little old me selling one of my yachts or islands.
Given the fact you have such large shares in Sabbath Broadcasting Company, and the partnership between Obscura Biotech and Obscura Programming, isn't there a massive conflict of interest when you push products you have a stake in? For example, you own 20% of Quick Cure shares, and their medicine is heavily pushed on the Sabbath Broadcasting Company. How is this morally sound?
Where's the conflict of interest exactly? If anything, I'm one of the most qualified people on the entire planet to influence where people invest their cash, given how much of it I have. Who's more informed than me? Someone who not only invested within the media for decades, but actively pulling the strings of one of the biggest biotech companies in the world. We're good at what we do. How many listeners do you average? 15? 20 tops? Well, the media I invest in gets millions of viewers tuning in. And among those millions are thousands who use Obscura products, who will comply and think exactly how we tell them to, because our products are the best. Tens of thousands comply on a good year, and hundreds of thousands comply on an election year. Do you know why that is? Because they know we are on the right side of the equation, the bed and history itself. They know we are fair and profit on progress, that our products are superior regardless of the means with which to produce them. They know that our competition is evil by sheer virtue of opposing us. How dare they refuse to fall in line 100% with our carefully funded and curated peer studies and op-eds note for note? If it isn't complete compliance, you may as well call it terrorism. Sabbath Broadcasting does, we do, so SBN viewers can be certain that at Obscura Biotech we have the best interests of the planet in mind. And since saving Scythe is our interest, then their interests are our interests, you see. We have the monopoly on correct, so who else would they turn to?
I find the kind of language you're using disturbing. Not bordering on morally bankrupt, but downright despicable. Evil, really. How can anyone possibly claim a monopoly on correct? Especially people who have absolutely no clue as to what it's like living in poverty. It's pretty bothersome to hear someone so wealthy and influential speak like this. Is fabricating reality reframing morality?
What's bothersome to me is how some people out there are just allowed to use money, to walk around pretending to be civilized folk. I don't think money should be a right. I think it should be a privilege, that it should be earned. The use of money should only be allocated to those who comply with a basic moral standard, and this standard should be decided by a Ministry of Knowledge, an organization funded and populated by those with the proper experience to know what is best for everyone else. People like me and my constituents, and we have, and will continue, to do exactly that to the tune of massive profits. Now, if you excuse me, I have an important meeting with the CEO of Quick Cure Pharmaceuticals. My people should be at your house any moment to do a sweep and retrieve any and all recordings of this interview. Have a nice evening.